The Pain of Suffering and Love by Pooja Patel. As people experience suffering in their lives, they realize how much love and comfort they need from the people that are close to them. The short stories The Approximate Size of My Favorite Tumor by Sharma Alexie and Sunny's Blues by James Baldwin portrays the main characters as lonely and possibly in a state of depression. The stories show how both of the characters deal with suffering and the reactions of the people that are most close to them. Their conditions cause loved ones to leave from their lives, which creates more pain to the characters. Jimmy's wife cannot take the reality of his condition, while Sunny's brother cannot understand all the decisions that Sunny has made in his life. The characters react differently to the centralized theme of suffering and love, which creates an overall emotional feeling of loneliness. Jimmy, the main character in The Approximate Size of My Favorite Tumor, has cancer, and his wife cannot handle the truth about his condition. She eventually runs away from the whole problem and leaves Jimmy to himself. Sunny experiences the same situation when he becomes a heroin addict, which causes his brother, the narrator, to leave. As the wife and brother abandon the two characters, they suffer the feeling of loneliness. The love for the characters is extremely strong throughout the two stories. The Approximate Size of My Favorite Tumor shows a bond between the husband and wife with all the flashbacks that are presented. The flashback shows the readers the actual personality of the wife that Jimmy fell in love with. These memories create a foundation for his loneliness. As Jimmy shows memories from his past, the readers can see an inner emotion that he is facing. One of the memories that Jimmy remembers of his wife is the time when they first met and how they fell in love. Jimmy was first attracted to Norma's humor. After they spoke to each other for the first time, Jimmy knew that they would fall in love. This shows the overall theme of love that is presented in the story. His condition of being isolated forms a negative appearance of his wife. However, their bond becomes extremely stronger as they are apart. Jimmy's reaction of suffering changes the audience's view of Norma's negative personality as the story progresses. In Sunny's Blues, Sunny's brother does not understand the decisions and goals that Sunny has made in his life. As Sunny is growing up, his brother breaks the promise to take care of him. He leaves Sunny with his wife after his mother's death, which further produces a feeling of abandonment. Everyone that he has loved has disappeared or died, which causes Sunny to become a heroin addict. As he comes out of prison, his brother tries to prevent him from getting into any more trouble. He even discourages Sunny to further accomplish his dream to becoming a jazz musician. His brother only tells him that it's time to start thinking about your future. The audience can see that the brother is looking after Sunny, since he could not take care of him after his parents' death. At this point, Sunny feels like no one really believes in him or cares about what he wants. After a continuous amount of argument between the two brothers, their love keeps them together even when they're far apart. Sunny wants his brother, of all people, to understand that music is the right path for him to take. The relationship of the two brothers is filled with love, but the lack of communication causes suffering to both of the characters. Furthermore, the stories show how both of the characters handle their suffering while being isolated from their families. Jimmy uses humor to ease the pain that is mentally affected within him. His humor makes it seem that he feels okay about having cancer. This is shown when he says, "My favorite tumor was just about the size of a baseball, shaped like one too." As the story progresses, the readers can see the actual feelings that are presented inside him. Jimmy's appearance of being depressed is vividly shown in the hospital scene when he notices the small things that are around him. He sees an old-style clock, which he compares to a person laughing. The readers can see that Jimmy does not want to live in sorrow, so he turns to humor to prevent himself from being miserable. His wife is all he cares for, but she abandons him when he acts like his condition is a joke. As a result, Jimmy puts on a brave face while covering up his pain and loneliness. His personality is hard for the readers to interpret because his humor is the only part of him that is shown in the text. When his wife comes back to him in the end, she begins to use humor to comfort her husband. She realizes that this is the best solution for him because this is how he was able to overcome the situation. As Jimmy uses humor for his pain, Sunny distracts himself with music to prevent his suffering. Music is considered addicting to him like drugs, so he uses advantage of music to keep himself away from his past addictions. Isabel, the narrator's wife, would tell Sunny's brother how he would play the piano all day at the house. She says it wasn't like living with a person at all. It was like living with sound. The way that Sunny plays the piano makes it seem like he's isolating himself with all the problems that are occurring in his life. The brother sees that Sunny is at the piano playing for his life. Playing music is what makes him happy, and when people criticize or discourages him, it produces a more negative effect in his mind. The different techniques that the characters use helps prevent their loneliness throughout the story, which makes them stronger. Jimmy and Sunny wanted the support of their loved ones throughout both of the stories. They overcame their conditions by believing in themselves and living for the future. As people face a challenging obstacle in their lives, they just want some encouragement from their families. Jimmy and Sunny handle their loneliness by reacting differently to both of their situations while being abandoned by the people that they love. Jimmy and Sunny's positive attitude creates a significant effect to their suffering. Everyone goes through pain in life, but they should not give up and put on a gloomy face when they are afraid. The stories show that conquering a fear is worth being achieved than living in terror until death. As the two characters move on to the future, the readers can see a strength that is created within them. This strength forms a better understanding for themselves as well as the people that are around them.